So I may have gone a little Speedy crazy lately. I went from having one Speedy in my collection to adding quite a few more in the last few years. So I thought I would make a video sharing my entire Louis Vuitton Speedy collection, which ranges in a number of different sizes as well as different materials, and share some truly rare pieces in my collection as well. I'll be sure to share size comparisons and giving some quick pros and cons and my overall thoughts on each bag. So if we haven't met, my name is Jo and I am a lover of all luxury bags and beauty. If you like this type of content, please like and subscribe and be sure to click the notification bell so you're notified every time I post a new video. So real quick, just giving my normal disclaimer, I am about to show you a very large collection of luxury bags, but I want to remind you that none of these items are necessary. You do not need anything that I'm about to show you today. And I would say that this is a much larger collection than most normal people have. And I am very aware of that. And I'm definitely acknowledging that. But I just want to remind you that I am not only a collector, but I am also a content creator of luxury bags and beauty. So part of my job is to share and feature bags that I love. And so I do feel extremely grateful to have this opportunity to be able to collect and share these items. But while I say that, I am sensitive to the fact that it is so easy as we watch and consume social media to feel this urge or to feel compelled that we need all of these items to fulfill our lives, and it's just simply not true. You do not need any of these things. I do hope this video will be informative, especially if you are interested or looking into investing into a bag from this brand in this style, but by no means do you need it. And so I just like to put that reminder out there. Obviously, if you are interested in any of these items and I can find anything available online, I will be sure to share links in the description below. But overall, just please don't feel like I am saying to run out and buy any of these items. I know that overall, they are definitely not necessary. Here's a little preview. They're all lined up, ready to go. So the first Speedy I'll be sharing from my collection is my tiniest. So this is I want to say it's the Micro Speedy Bag Charm. So I will say this is extremely stupidly expensive. It is so cute. Is it practical? No. Does it fit much of anything? Not really. I mean, I was able to fit a good amount of mini makeup in here, but I'm not actually using this for mini makeup on a day-to-day basis. What I will say is kind of cool though, is that when you open it, this one must be a little older because this one did have a date code in it. So it has all of that information there on the little strap, which I thought was kind of neat. So other than that, there's really not too much to say about this little piece. If you are a crazy collector and you have money to burn, this is a really adorable piece. Otherwise, I would skip it. Okay, the next piece I have does not look like a Speedy, but its name is the LV Trousse Speedy. Now, this is the vintage version, as you can tell by the koala clasp, but they did re-release this just recently in denim. They have it in the blue denim and the pink. I actually prefer this vintage version more because I like the clasp that it comes with here. And also I was able to get mine at a significantly cheaper price than the current retail value of the new version. So the only thing I will say that I did find a little annoying about the vintage one is it actually came with the keyring here and it was attached to this long chain. So it kind of just like hung out here. but because it's on this side of the bag and not on this side, you can't tuck it into the zipper. So whenever you would use it, it would just like flop around. So I ended up using a pair of pliers and taking the chain part off so that if I wanted to, I could still connect my keys to it, but it's not quite as like in the way as it was before. But yeah, there's not too much to this piece. It has the mustard yellow micro suede interior that the vintage versions do. I just have it stuffed right now. I just think this is honestly a great piece. It is a great size. It is so cute. Again, I prefer the vintage one for this. So if you can find one, it really is, I think, a very unique and very cute piece. So I would definitely recommend this one. Okay, next we have the Mini HL. And I originally, for probably the last like 2 to 3 years, I've been telling everyone that this vintage Mini HL is the same size as the new Louis Vuitton Nano Speedy. And I am here to tell you that I am wrong, because I actually went and tried out the Nano Speedy while I was in stores, while I was on my trip to Vegas. And I was able to fit my Key Pouch S into that Nano Speedy, whereas it does not fit into this Mini HL, which I'm really confused about, because if you look at the monogram pattern on the website, they look exactly the same. So the only thing I can think is that the bag is either like slightly wider or just a hair longer, or as you can kind of see, the zipper on this vintage version kind of comes up, like it's a little more narrow at the top. And I have a feeling the Speedy opens up in more of a like parallel way so that it opens a little wider so you can tuck a few more things inside. Either way, the closure on this one is really prohibitive. And while this is actually a pretty spacious little mini bag, I wouldn't recommend this vintage version because I just feel like it is too hard to get in and out of the bag. So originally I was crapping on the Nano Speedy because I said nothing fits, nothing fits. But I actually think I may be in the market for the Nano Speedy, and if I get one, I will likely sell this one because I don't need 2 of them in my collection. But again, I just think this vintage version is impractical. That said, if you want a little piece of Louis Vuitton heritage, if you're not planning on fitting a crap ton into your bags, you can find the Mini HL version for pretty good prices. Like I've seen them out there for $500 or below, which yeah, is a lot of money overall for a bag, but for a Louis Vuitton piece, that is a reasonable price. So it kind of depends what your priorities are. If you're looking for affordability, you know, this is a good option in that sense. But I personally think I might be willing to invest in the new version just because to me that one is a little more practical. All right, next we have my 2 very special pieces in my collection. These are my Speedy 18s. Now, the 18 is not a common size, and it honestly, I don't think has really been mentioned at all since its original release in 1988. So in 1988, they released 500 of the Speedy 18 in a monogram canvas. It was specifically just for Japan to celebrate, I think, their 10-year anniversary in the country. So it is an extremely rare bag. And then it did not get released again, I think, until Pharrell took over as the menswear creative director, and then he released a few of these Speedy 18s. So I have this one. This is in the, I think it's called like the 3D Damier monogram, and I'll put the exact name down here in the corner. I just absolutely Love this color of the denim against this vachetta here. I just think it looks so beautiful. I love the size of this one. And I say this one, even though they are both Speedy 18s, this one is larger. You can even tell just looking at them. Like, the monogram one is significantly longer, in my opinion, given that they are both being called in 18 size. This one, I think, is a hair smaller than the 18 centimeters. This one is substantially larger than 18 centimeters. So I actually prefer this size. I think it's a little cuter. That said, the top handles on this one are smaller than this one here. So I do think overall this 18 is more practical. This one though, I just think is such a special piece. If you can find it, I would definitely recommend it. It is now obviously discontinued from the Louis Vuitton retail website, as this came out in, I think, 2024. So this one is arguably just as special though, because this one was customized precisely for me. So this Speedy 18 is part of the LV&I customization program, which allows you to pick your bag. So this came in 3 different types of like light colored leathers. It came in a eclipse monogram. And at one point, I think it also came in the dune color, and then this classic version. And then you're also allowed to pick 3 charms here, and then a bag charm and a strap, which I don't have the strap shown here. You'll see it in a bit. So the reason I got this bag was not because you could customize it, but because I wanted the Speedy 18 in the monogram, because I just think that this size is the perfect size. I think that the Nano, even if I get the like new Nano, which is slightly larger, I think the Nano is still quite small. And the Speedy 20, at least for me, given I am a little more petite, I think the Speedy is too big. So this is like that perfect Goldilocks size for me. I also love how both of these have zippers that go down on the side, so it's a lot easier to get things in and out of the bags. Overall, in terms of pros, again, I would say the size of these ones, I think, are the ideal size. For this one here, the top handles are really small. On this one here, they're much easier to like slip my hand through. So I actually do use the monogram one as a top handle bag quite often. Other than that, I think the only major con of these two are the prices and how rare they are. So this one is hard to find, but when you can find it, I've seen it like right now for $3,000 or more. I got mine for less. I was pretty fortunate to find a good deal, but they are hard to find. This one, I think, is still available on the Louis Vuitton website. You have to search Speedy 18 and you'll see it in the customization. Not on the app. I think you have to go on the website. But this one is stupidly expensive. I think it was like $3,500, $3,600, which is more than a majority of the Speedies that are offered. So I just think that you have to really want it if you want this one. I knew I wanted it. I know I will use this bag a lot. So for me, it was worth it, even if we're just talking about cost per wear. But overall, I think most people will say that this is definitely overpriced. Okay, next we have my 2 Speedy 25 bags, which are admittedly very similar looking. But again, if you are a collector, you'll know these are quite different bags. The first one here is my Speedy 25 P9 in the coffee color. It is everything. It is just so beautiful. I have it decked out with the chain that came with my Speedy 25. I think it just looks really good with the coloring on this bag. And then I have another few different bag charms on it as well. Then we have my Speedy 25 in the Empreinte, and this is in a dark brown. I think it was called Terre in terms of the color shade. Now, this bag does come with a crossbody strap, but I had purchased this pre-loved at a steal of a price. The only drawback was it did not come with the strap, which was no problem for me. I ended up buying this one on Amazon. It looks very similar to the Speedy Soft 30. So I've already done a review of my P9, and in it I do a comparison with this bag. So I'm not going to belabor this too much, but I will say that overall, I actually think the Empreinte version is like a hair longer, like a little bigger. And another big difference about the two is the fact that on the Empreinte version, the zipper does go all the way down on the sides, whereas this one is more of the original classic where it just goes straight across the top. Obviously, there is a difference in materials. So the P9 is made out of this double tan, drum milled calfskin leather, and it has the most beautiful lambskin lining on the interior. So this really is like top tier luxury in terms of the materials used. Now, the Empreinte is really wonderful as well. I will say that this leather feels far more like hardy and carefree. Like I can wear this in the rain and I don't worry about it. I just feel like it's not as delicate as this calfskin that is very soft, but just scares me a little bit. Like I'm not wearing this one in the rain, right? Also on this one, it comes with feet and a little bit of extra lining at the bottom here to protect the bottom of the bag, whereas the P9 does not have any protection. So it's just the soft leather at the bottom. So there are definitely pros and cons of both of these bags. I will say there is a huge price difference. I think I said in my review here, this bag is, I think, like 85% cheaper than this one. And so, as I said in that video, I'll say again, like the P9 is truly a luxurious bag. Like it does feel extremely luxurious, but you can find so many other alternatives that are very, very similar in many ways for a fraction of the cost, whether that's a Louis bag or something else. So if you like the look, the idea of this one, but the price is just way too much to swallow, which I would totally understand, I would definitely recommend this Empreinte version. I found mine for like $1,400 all said and done with like authentication, like duties, all the things that I had to pay for. But even then, a total price of $1,400 I thought was really good for an all leather bag that is such great quality. All right, last but certainly not least, we have my Speedy Soft 30. This is in the crafty style. I've also added a few extra little charms and things in addition to the ones that came with the bag. So first I have my Speedy bag charm. So we've come full circle. I have a chain here, and then also another little charm that came from one of my other bags. I never thought I would ever own a Speedy 30. It just wasn't something I saw on my bingo card, but I don't know. I have just been in my slouchy era now, and when I saw this bag and I saw like how it just wears and how it is so soft, I just absolutely fell in love. I also really like this crafty one with the bright red interior and all of the like extra little accessories that came with it. I just loved that combination. And honestly, even now, I got this bag late last year, and even now, like if you smell the bag, you can still just smell the leather. It smells so good. Now, I will say this bag is a different type of squishy and soft than the P9. The P9 is on a whole nother level. But if we're talking just about like softness and squishiness of canvas, like this one takes the cake. It truly is just so slouchy and amazing. I also like that it came with a shoulder handle instead of a crossbody strap. I do like this handle a lot, how it's like rolled. And I think it just looks really good when I wear this bag on my shoulder. Overall, I would say this is a great classic piece. I like the fact that even though it is really slouchy, it's got this like, you know, real great soft feel to it. If structured bags come back into style, I can easily put a bag insert in here or something and make it into that like classic Speedy shape. So I do think there is like a longevity aspect to this bag, given the Speedy itself is just such a heritage piece. So regardless of whether it is worn in a slouchy way or if it's worn in a very structured way, I think it's just such a classic style. And the Speedy 30, I think, is a classic size. So yeah, I'm glad I have this one. I will say when I wear it, I don't have that much inside of it because I'm so used to wearing mini bags. So oftentimes my things are just like rolling around inside. But I do love wearing her. It's just such a vibe. It's such a slouchy look. And maybe this will train me to carry more in my bags. Who knows? But yes, I love this one. It is a little pricey. I think it's $35.50 right now. So it is a little more than I had spent on it last year. But overall, I do think that given the interior is fully lined in leather, that does add to the value. So I do think that it is a great option. So now we're at the point where I'm going to share what my top Speedies are in my collection. And I have to say it was a pretty hard choice, but I narrowed it down to two. And so they are my Speedy P9, of course. I had to choose this one in the coffee bean. And then my 18 size as well. These are actually my two most recent purchases, and they are among the most expensive in my collection as well. But I do think that they have, both in their own ways, a longevity to them. Obviously, the Speedy 25 in the P9 is just such a beautiful, classic looking piece. I like how it is so understated. I just feel like it's going to stand the test of time. Now, my Speedy 18 I like because I think that the 18 size, again, is just the perfect size. It's bigger than the Nano, and it's not quite as boxy and bulky as I've seen with the Speedy 20. So I knew I wanted the Speedy 18, as I said, and I do think that in the monogram, it's just really such a classic looking bag. So I decided if I had to only pick, well, technically I should have only picked one, but I couldn't pick because I feel like this one is my forever bag, but this one is going to be my forever and practical, more like daily use bag as well. So that wraps up this video. As always, thank you so much for watching and spending a little time with me today. As always, I want to hear from you guys. I am so curious to hear what you guys think of my collection. Were there any bags that you were surprised by? Or what was your favorite from my collection that I shared? I'll let you choose two since I ended up picking two as well. Also, if you guys have any of your own favorite Speedies in your collection, definitely share in the comments below. As always, if you guys like this type of content, please like and subscribe. I would just love to have you as a part of this community. And if you'd like to watch more of my content, I'll be sure to include a playlist here, and YouTube will share their recommendations here. Otherwise, bye for now.